Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, it seems like these guys being NATO, they have to send those F-16s and whatever they got, because it seems like the Russians are downing those Sukhoi and especially the MiG-29s given by Poland and Slovakia, I think it was, and other countries, because the Russians, it seems like they are blowing them in the sky, and not that kind of blowing, but you know what I mean. So I got this article, comes from Russia Today. It is from today, obviously, because it's from Russia, and let's see what these guys are claiming. Remember, Russia Today, from today, May 2nd, 2023. 3 Ukrainian military jets downed in a day, Moscow claims. Russian missiles destroyed 2 MiG-29s and 1 Su-25 warplane, the Ministry of Defense has claimed. Russian forces have shot down 3 Ukrainian warplanes in a single day, the Ministry of Defense in Moscow said on Tuesday. Look at this. Look at this. You see this airfield? You see it? A takeoff? You see all these things over here in between the concrete? The F-16s cannot fly on such a pavement. That's according to an article I covered in one of my videos, where they said why F-16s could not. They need a longer airfield, and they need this to be cleared, vacuumed if possible, plated with gold and diamonds, and be shiny as the sky, or the crystal, and then you cannot have these things right here. That's according to that article written by an expert. But the Sukhois and the Russians, why? They said because the landing gear on the F-16s is very pussy-like. I should not say like that, because certain are not that, how should I put it? So anyway, let's move on. The military claimed that air defense systems had destroyed 2 Soviet-era MiG-29 fighter jets over Russia's Donetsk People's Republic and Kherson region, where a Ukrainian Su-25 close support aircraft was also brought down. The Russian military also intercepted 8 US-made high-mobility artillery rocket system HIMARS missiles and disabled 6 Ukrainian drones, the military added. So 8 US-made artillery intercepted. Intercepted meaning, hey, they're coming, boom, or we're going to intercept like hitting them in the air. I think the second option. Russian forces have, according to the ministry, destroyed a total of 416 warplanes, 230 helicopters, and almost 4,000 unmanned aerial vehicles since the start of the conflict with Kiev in February of last year. Whilst sustaining losses, Ukraine has received a number of Soviet-era MiG-29 jets from Western backers, most notably Slovakia and Poland. The two countries have pledged to support Kiev with around 24 jets, with the first deliveries already beginning to arrive. Ukraine has on numerous occasions called for its allies to deliver modern warplanes such as F-16s, although its requests have thus far not been granted. They will be, and we all know that. Unless they don't want to be shot down and then make a fool of themselves. I think that's another thing, that another reason why they don't really want to get them over there. That's my gut feeling. I will explain. Russia has repeatedly warned that the West, that arms deliveries to Ukraine will only prolong the conflict. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov insisted in early February that Western deliberations about sending warplanes to Kiev not only highlight their, and I'm quoting, growing involvement, end quote, in the hostilities, but also lead to raising tensions. Well, I think they're already involved, it's just the level, which is a growing involvement. Now, why I think the West will not send F-16, or I think they're very hesitant in sending, and they're just trying to postpone. You see, when they send the HIMARS, they say the HIMARS are fantastic. I cannot verify, or the Russians, if they say, well, we downed, how many they say they downed? How many HIMARS? Let's see. 8. They say we downed 8 intercepted. 8 HIMARS rockets. So if they intercepted it, it's, how are you going to prove that? You're going to take a video on how you hit it, It's really, you can't prove that you really did it. It's not the same thing with an airplane. If an F-16 goes over and flies and the Russians shut it down, I guarantee you that the Russians will look for evidence to show how shitty the F-16s are. I mean, that's how it is. That's how it works. As these guys say, MiGs and Su-25s are garbage. Yeah, but on the other hand, they are happy to supply Ukraine with those garbages. But anyway, so that's, I think, is going to be one reason why they're afraid. Because when they have a plane, this guy's going to shut it down. And then you know what's going to happen? The American military-industrial complex cannot go around the world and say, F-16, buy F-16s, buy F-16s, they're better, they're good. Because we're going to say, wait, how did they perform in Ukraine? You know what I mean? The same thing is on the other hand. Why do you think these guys are talking about, oh, we blow up this, we blow up that? For the same reason, no HIMARS battery was blown up by the Russians so far, according to the US military-industrial complex. For the same reason, so they can sell it. And people are buying it, obviously. And the Russians do the same thing. Oh, S-300s are so good. Caliber cruise missiles, perfect hit. This is it's a real life commercial of these guys, of the military-industrial complex on both sides. So that's I'm saying I'm better. Why do you think that at the beginning these guys were not allowed, for instance, to send certain kind of howitzers and all that? It was the Americans. Let them do the first move. Why? Let us show, like HIMARS. They send the HIMARS over there. Perfect, man, perfect. For the same reason. So I think that's one reason why these guys will not, or at least I think they will send them, but I don't think they will really get involved for this one reason. The other one is they are also afraid, and there is the big risk that someone, a little pilot, flying one of these F-16s to veer towards the Russians and land in Russia. Remember, was it in the 80s or something like that? 70s, 80? I think it was 80s. I can't remember. And it doesn't matter. The point is, one pilot in Vladivostok got I think it was a MiG-31 and landed in Japan with it. The Americans did not know what the hell that was. And they opened it up and sent it back to Russia after they checked and got everything they needed from that. So I think they're afraid of the same thing. One of these pilots will say, you know what, bye-bye, see you never, and go over there. That's the second risk. So anyway, the point here, the Russians said, well, we're down 3 airplanes in one day. Possible, 100%. Probable, I'll give them 90%. Why not? And I think it happens the same way. But lately I didn't hear the Ukrainians coming with this kind of, oh, we downed this. Mostly they downed, as I remember, it was Mi-8, I think the helicopters, and Su-25s. These were the ones that the Ukrainians mostly downed. And they were not, rarely it was a Su-35 or a MiG-29 or something like that. Not MiG-31, because MiG-31 is with a Kinzhal. And when a MiG-31 takes off from Belarus, everybody is putting their diapers on, ready to take a poop, because these guys are going to release a Kinzhal and we're all done. Kinzhal with a nuclear warhead. So that's why when you hear MiG-31, everybody's like, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.